Very important day for Bitcoin as the weekly may just confirm a very nasty setup here. However, it is all coming down to the next 16 hours, 16 minutes, and 41 seconds from this exact moment. So without further ado, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. It's a nice little Sunday morning over here, and I think it's time for me to just jump right into the charts. So first things first, we're going to start off with the hash ribbons indicator. And just before I even get into it, I do want to say it was a little bit of a surprise to me when I first brought this up. I've been bringing this up for like a couple years now, but in the past few weeks when I brought it up, and there was just like a palpable distaste for this particular indicator or this particular analysis, and I was wondering why, because it seemed, pretty cut and dry to me. But then I realized as I went through crypto YouTube, fucking everyone and their mother with the open face thumbnails is looking at this. So maybe that's why. Maybe I understand now. Anyways, I want to go through this analysis just because I still do think that it does hold merit here, and it's at a major decision point, I do suspect, which could be very nastily influenced by tonight's closure. So first things first, what is this? Well, it is a measurement of basically miner profitability, and there are two components that you need to be aware of, both the capitulation phase, as you see right here, for example, and then that blue buy signal that you see a little bit later after it. And what we've seen over the full history of Bitcoin on the weekly time frame is 15 prior iterations. I'll mark them all off with these green vertical bars right here. And what it has traditionally meant throughout the history of Bitcoin is that once that blue buy signal has printed, Bitcoin has not closed below the prior low ever again before heading upwards and onwards for 13 out of the 15 times. That means that 2 times that relationship has failed, and we're going to discuss that a little bit later. But basically, a good example would be this slew of lows right here coming off of 2015, right? So the blue buy signal gets printed in January, on this green vertical bar. That would be the prior low in the red circle. And then yes, Bitcoin does come back down and test around it a couple more times, but no closures below, very obviously. In fact, prints another couple blue buy signals, as you do see. Now, if I flip this on from a line chart, whoops, let me get rid of these moving averages, by the way. If I flip this from a line chart to a good old, where's my hollows? Yeah, there we go. No, it's not my hollows that I'm using on this one. It's just regular. Yeah, we can see major wicks below. That's completely fine. That is not a part of the analysis. This is on a very specific closing basis. So wicks below, okay. Closures below, not okay for that relationship to hold true. Now, like I said, 13 out of 15 times, that has been the case where once that blue buy signal was printed, Bitcoin did not close lower ever again on this time frame. As you can see, just generally speaking, going upwards and onwards from here, as we do kind of go through some of the past examples. Again, right here, and then here would be one of the first failures. That was, of course, back on over in December of 2019. Bitcoin printed that blue buy signal at about 7,400 before heading up to just north of $10,000, and then the Rona dump a little bit after that. And obviously this one closed well below, and then did the same thing, for the next few signals over here as it went nice upwards and onwards. And as we can see, the next failure and the only other failure would be coming off of August 2021. Blue buy signal was printed. Bitcoin has a nice rally, comes back down pretty aggressively, but again, does not violate the prior low, even puts in the current all-time high, and then later on, about a year later, definitely does come down and close below that reach. And as you can see, a pretty catastrophic, nasty fall after that to our current macro cycle lows. So again, the two failures that we do have did lead to some, very nasty crashes, I guess you could say. In this case, what would I be comparing this to? I guess we can just go all the way to the low. I don't necessarily have like a great way of quantifying this one, but that would be a 60% decrease. And over here, that would be from the signal given to the next major low, about 31% decrease. So in all examples, though, it should be known that there was actually some pretty sizable price action to the upside first before any sort of a potential pullback. Let alone, an actual failure. Like even on the two failure conditions, one we saw new all-time highs first, and the other one we saw is that right? Is that a 50% move? Hold on. That doesn't sound right. That is a 50% move. Okay, fair enough. All right. So not bad, man. Not bad. Anyways, today is very important because the weekly is going to be closing. And as we know, 1 week ago, the blue buy signal was printed on this particular closure right here, meaning that the prior low, which was over here at about 25,900, is the low to be mindful of. And what do you know? Bitcoin is just a hair above it as of right now. Is there a wick below that region? Yes, absolutely. But again, this is not operating on, did I just do hiking derpies? Again, or sorry, there's actually not a wick below on this one, but on Bybit, there definitely is. But again, it's not on wicks. It is on closures. This is a very, very important key point of the analysis. So again, going back to the line chart, yes, it's a hair above. Again, 25,900 is the area to beat for tonight's closure. If Bitcoin does close below there, obviously this relationship is nullified, and like I said, the only other times that we've seen that happen, we've seen some pretty sizable decreases. So at that point, I really would have to open up the, likelihood for looking for a sizable decrease for Bitcoin. Somewhere down around 22,000 bucks is not out of the question, as that is one of the last major CME gaps, actually. Anyways, until then, as long as Bitcoin maintains above that level on a closing basis, again, coming in tonight and 16 hours, 10 minutes, and 45 seconds from this exact moment, that the upside hopes are still alive. It could just be another retest of this region. That's completely fine. Again, very, very similar to what we actually saw back over here in 2015, where there were several closures very close, very, very close to those lows as I put my drawing tools back on, but again, did not violate that principle. Very, very important right there. So yes, that is the big thing that I'm mindful of today. Again, if Bitcoin closes above, then, Bulah's hope still open, but realistically, we'd want to start to see, another few weeks of sideways price action. What do you fucking know, man? Sideways price action. You're already used to it though, or I'm already used to it. Maybe you are too, because it's been that way for the last couple months, basically. Albeit except for that quick 15-minute dump to the downside that we did see this week, which has been the most interesting price action we've seen. In fact, Jesus Christ. Whoa. I just want to kind of zero in on this for a second here, just because I do think that this does matter towards the overall understanding of what happened. Bitcoin on that move to the downside was done in pretty much one 15-minute just dildo right here, as you do see. It was kind of being walked down a little bit before that, a little bit, but the overwhelming majority of that move was done in about 15 minutes with no continuation thus far. And since then, like I said, it's not just no continuation, it's like full on sideways stablecoin action. So whenever I see something like that, it does bring up the possibility of a bit of a trap situation, because you do typically want to see these things continue sooner rather than later. Now, I still think if it's still available in that way, but if Bitcoin doesn't really continue to the downside over this next, I would say 7 to 10 days, the likelihood of this being a trap and Bitcoin trying some upside moves from here is going to be greatly increased. But for right now, probabilities still remain to the downside, as we've gone over based off the 2-day. Jesus Christ, man, stop. Fucking stop. As we've gone over on the 2-day time frame over here, this volatility versus stochastic momentum setup is still in play. Closing tonight, going to be showing the current momentum pivot at 26,750. But again, that does imply that if Bitcoin, fails to continue down, this number will naturally go into a bullish reset. But that's going to take, a week or two, basically. So anyways, moving on now, I do want to go back on over here. Just kind of, I should have known. Fuck you, computer. You probably can't even hear that. It's just that massive alert sound. Anyways, I want to go back into this chart. This is the this is the halving chart, is what I refer to it as. And basically, let me actually get rid of these for right now because they're not super important. Maybe at a later date they'll be very important, but not for right now at least. But basically, the green vertical bars represent prior halvings. And of course, the one over here represents the estimated time of the next one. And as you can see, about a year before the halving, Bitcoin typically goes on a nice upside move, essentially verified by the breakage of the long-term downtrend, something like this. All cycles seem to have some like that, including the current one. And Bitcoin goes for a nice upside rip, followed by a pretty sizable decrease. It doesn't look like much on these charts, but even this one over here, which really doesn't look like anything at all, actually, this is still a very sizable decrease. This is, on a closing basis, about a 35% decrease. Compare that with this one over here. Again, doesn't look like much, but that's 20+%. Or sorry, that's actually a lot more than that, but probably closer to 30. And this one's like obviously significantly more than that. I think around 50%. Actually, on closing basis, what is it? Is it 40? No, it's 53. Anyways, it does seem pretty at this point obvious to me that Bitcoin is entering into that sort of like post breakout mid-cycle pullback. Does that make sense? It's the lows are basically what I'm trying to say is the lows are in. It's going into it's in that reaccumulation phase where it trades sideways. We've already seen the upside move. I suppose that was it at 31 or $32,000 basically. And now that we're going to see that next move to the downside occur. Now I've actually gone ahead and analyzed the prior few cycles and the timing of this. And this was also another key component that we were speaking about a few months ago on this channel. But in terms of timing, it seems like things have been right. In terms of like percent returns, things have been definitely very much off in this current one. But going into it over here, what I measured is I measured the time from the breakout. So the time from this area right here being broken out to the next major high, the percentage gained, and then also the time from that next major high to the next major low, and the percentage lost. And in this case, we found that the time taken for that first move to the upside did take about 100 days on average, with one of those times being like much less, but the other two times being 133 and 126 days respectively. Well, what do you know? On this current high from the time that Bitcoin broke that long-term downtrend, we saw about exactly 133 days. Right on fucking target. Very fucking interesting right there. Now, in terms of percent return, it was certainly, not that much compared to the other ones, 45%. Still pretty sizable move, but comparing it to the other ones, I mean, these were like 100% move plus. In fact, all of them at least got 100% move, as you can see right here. Now, from that high to the next low, it's taken on an average about 90 days, with one of those times being a major outlier, I should say as well, but, about 3 months. And so if we are going to be looking at this and kind of, assuming that is the high for this sort of pre-halving rally, what would about 90 days look like from there? Well, that would put us in late September, early October, in terms of kind of like timing a low. So is it a little bit too early to be looking for a low right here? As of right now, based off that data, it would suggest kind of yes. Now, does 3 times really give me like a super high confidence for this? Fuck no, it doesn't. But it's the best that we got, unfortunately. In terms of percentage loss on average, actually in the upper 30%. So, if it does go for the average, that could mean Bitcoin comes down significantly more. I think that would be a bit of a stretch, just personally speaking. Somewhere around $20,000. I think if Bitcoin comes down there, I think it's going much lower. Just again, personal opinion. But to put in perspective, Bitcoin comes down to like, let's say $21,500 That put it in the low 30%, which I do think is maybe a little bit more reasonable if there is continuation. What would I define as continuation? I'm going to see that hash ribbons relationship over here destroyed first. If that happens, then yeah, I think somewhere down around there is fair game. Probably a bounce attempt somewhere at 24. What is this area right here? Like 24.3, 24.4, something like that. Anyways, okay, cool. So we've got that. Let's move through this one now. We can go check out. I'm turning off my fucking sound after this. This is ridiculous. We can go check out the HPDR ranges. Nothing's changed here. Yesterday I was saying, hey, in the short term, Bitcoin probably gets one more try to the downside. We still might see a little bit of a try to the downside, but somewhere around like the low side of the range at 25,350. But I feel like if it was going to happen, yesterday would have been a really good day for that. Let's go check out stochastic momentum just to see where those pivots are as of right now, and maybe get an idea of if that short-term downside move would still be likely. But sideways seems to be the name of the game for Bitcoin, no matter what it does. God, I give up with this fucking shit. That sound, I don't know if you can actually hear the sound because I do have my desktop audio muted for these videos, but it's just the damn trading view alert, which I don't even know why I have it, to be honest. Actually, it is useful, but it's not useful when I'm trying to create a damn video. So starting off over here, daily time frame remains with its downside momentum as long as Bitcoin's below 27,150. 12-hour time frame will turn back down below 26,420. Again, getting kind of in the critical zone right there. 6-hour time frame is going to actually turn up above 25,850. 4-hour time frame is going to also be turning up here with a little bit of bullish divergence there too. I should denote, even coming off of this nice trendline regression, as long as Bitcoin's above 25,780, and hourly is going to be down below 26,100. Not really getting anything super useful from this, to be honest with you. If I had to call it, probably some more sideways. So fair enough. Anyways, yeah, I think that's going to do it for right now. That's kind of the information I want to get out here, and I'll probably be signing off on that note. Oh, fuck, I forgot to talk about it at the beginning of this video, but this damn friend tech thing, what the hell is it? I have one, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what to do there, and apparently people are buying and selling shares of me, which I don't know if that sounds a lot like a security, and I'm not sure I'm okay with that. Like, I feel like Gary Gensler is going to be suing me pretty soon, or Friend Tech itself. Fucking strange though, man. Like, how? Like, they could. Why would they? That sounds a lot like a security. I don't know. It sounds like a lot. It sounds a lot like a security, but everyone else is doing it, so it's all good. No, look, I can tell you just straight up, if you're buying and selling my shit on there, like my actual shit, look, I have no plans to really do anything there. I don't really even understand what it is as of right now fully. Maybe in the future, once like I get verified through hopefully like a lawyer that it's okay, maybe we'll do something there. But for right now, it's just like a fun little flippant way to have a quick chat, I suppose. And I think we'll just leave it at that, man, and we'll come back to it a bit later. Anyways, other than that, I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Monday.